Basketball fans, what is up? And welcome to the All Basketball Podcast. Once again, it's your host, Maurice Dixon, coming to you with another edition of Carolina Got Something to Say. And I'm pretty sure, as I like to say, about as far as the All Basketball Podcast, where debates often take place, we got two sides of the fence to talk about this 2024 NCAA Final Four, and with the matchup upcoming between Purdue and NC State, winners of 9 in a row after losing 4 straight as an 11 seed. Then you got the number 1 overall seed UConn against Alabama, and that's coming up this Saturday. But this is Tuesday, and since this is Carolina Got Something to Say, we got to get the Duke Carolina right away because both made the Sweet 16. Unfortunately for me, Duke went a little further, but we're going to hash it out. It is what it is. We went out first, which made my brother Derek happy, but Duke still went out, so there's not another banners being raised for them. It's not one being raised for us. But hey, we're all in the same boat. But right now at the moment, I got 2 Carolina fans, well, including myself, and 2 Duke fans on the show. And we're gonna we might as well get the latest thing. 2 longtime Duke fans. I've known Henri. He's been a Duke fan. One time I asked him, how was he a Duke fan? He's responded back, how are you a Carolina fan? but we the best of friends. But Henri, y'all went down to state. Second half things, y'all led by 6 at the half, but it was another ugly game. End up falling short to state. Just on quite a Cinderella type run. Who are you blaming for the loss?
Well, I gotta blame. I blame Scheyer.
Oh,
yeah, I don't think that he made the right adjustments and things like that. So, yeah, I gotta blame him. As in most of our losses, I would say has been on him. But State has been hot, and especially the DJs, both DJs, but yeah, I expected more. I did expect, hoping that we would win that game, and especially
you said y'all would beat State. No, you weren't hoping. You said y'all would beat State.
Oh yeah, I did. I said that. I said, oh yeah. I said yeah. We would get our revenge from that, losing in the ACC tournament, and so I fully expected us to beat State.
I can't lie. I knew it could go either way, but what adjustments? People saying adjustments. Or Horace, you can chime in. Proctor went 0 for 9. Filipowski didn't have a good game. I don't know what's the adjustment.
That's the problem right there. Filipowski not having a good game. To me, there should have been more, from him. But yeah, you go ahead, Horace.
Well, I'm agreeing with Henri that most, and you heard me before, Maurice. I always say that Scheyer has had issues with in-game adjustments, and I stand on that. Because he made a comment going in the half up 6, and he told Tracy or whoever interviewed him that our offense seemed a little disjointed. Well, if your offense seemed disjointed, it's because it was probably disjointed in practice. And all these things comes back to how you practice, how you prepare, and how you do all these things. First of all, yeah, Proctor went 0 for 9. Scheyer not making the shots. Scheyer's not taking the shots. But Proctor coming back, would you say he progressed or regressed? These things are all on coaching. Mark Mitchell definitely regressed. Filipowski came back playing out of position because Derek Lively went on to the pros. Now you're forced to put Filipowski in the 5 position, which he's not a natural center because he's a stretch 4. So now you're putting that on him to try to say, let's figure out this 1 year, figure out how to you play the 5 position, and they just ignored the whole transfer portal to not get a rim protector to try to play Filipowski at his natural position. So my thing is, you hold NC State with 27% shooting in the first half, 21 points. The second half, they scored 55 points, shot 73%. You didn't go zone. You didn't try anything new other than just, well, we're gonna let DJ just get his, and we're gonna stop everybody else. That may have worked when you play NC State early in the season, when he went for 27 and you shut everybody else down, but that wasn't the case this time. So if you saw that the other DJ was getting off as well, then at least try a zone to try to slow down the rhythm. For the first couple of years of Scheyer being the coach, he has not recruited, and there has not been a person that when things break down on offense, you can say, get him the ball and get out the way and let's get it. There's nobody on the team that can do that last year or this year. So my thing is, I would say that with the talent that he has, he got a 5-star player, TJ Powell, just sitting on the bench and not even playing. He didn't play against Houston, and the only time he played was when Filipowski fouled out, against NC State. You beat NC State at NC State, and you beat them. Sean Stewart played more minutes than Filipowski. So, I mean, it's these, as you like to say, Maurice, these are just facts. So the fact is that all of this, what I'm talking about, has to fall on Scheyer. And I'm not knocking him. I'm just observing what I see. If you're going to critique your players and ask them to get better, then why can't we critique our coach and ask him to get better as well? Get the players better prepared. Get the players to progress. If Mark Mitchell, you see he hasn't progressed by middle of the season and hadn't done anything, then why you got a 5-star TJ Powers playing, sitting over there on the bench and ain't getting no kind of minutes? Sean Stewart, no kind of minutes. He was a better defender on DJ than anybody else. Why not play him? He's not an offensive guy. Let me ask you this,
from what I know Mitchell is. I know what Henri was saying earlier in the season. Mitchell is defense. So you got offense with Filipowski, you got offense with McCain, Roach here and there, offense and defense. Is Powers? Is he not? He might not. Is he not capable defensively?
Well, if you look at the numbers, he probably shot better. He had probably the second or third best 3-point percentage on the team. And the offense doesn't work in this offense unless it's connected. That's the way this offense works. They have to be connected. We can say Filipowski this and that, but he is not that give me the ball, get out the way kind of guy. That's not what he does. Jared McCain, that's not what he does. That's not what they do. They have to move the ball, screen away, get open shot, pass it, get it to the open man, penetrate, kick, and do that. That's the kind of connectivity that they have to have when the offense is clicking. But they don't have a Jason Tatum. Get out the way, let me get it. Brandon Ingram, get out the way, let me go get it. They don't have it. So, but my thing is, if Howard is sitting on the bench, whether he is a defensive liability or whatever, you need some kind of spunk to get something going. I mean, you don't know. I mean, March Madness is where stars are born, right?
Right. You have a game like the guy for Alabama, Nelson.
Right. I mean, you never know until you put him in the game. You see. I mean, he's a 5-star player for a reason.
I think one of my issues with Scheyer is, my concern is development of the top talent. Like, he's getting the talent. We're getting the 5 stars. But, that developing those guys, because even when, okay, we want winning, if we want winning championships, okay, we may not even made it to a Final Four. But one thing for sure, we're going to have a top 10 player, like about to get drafted, on that team. We consistently had, Coach K was consistently developing players for the NBA, and they were going to be drafted high. This is like with Scheyer, it's like, okay, what are you doing now with this talent? You're getting this top talent. What are you doing to develop these guys for now and for the next level? And that's an issue. And one of the things Horace was saying, people digressing, and then you got 5 stars sitting on the bench. Okay, what are you gonna do there? If somebody else isn't stepping up, there's got to be somebody there willing to step it up. And I know these kids. I know a lot of them are young. They're not like 24, 25 like Carolina players. Still, these are young, talented players.
But Ian, what you got to say on the game? NC State Duke.
I mean, that was just good old fashioned bully ball. I'm taking your lunch. What you gonna do about it? DJ Burns took Filipowski's lunch, took Mark Mitchell's lunch. He came with that old school Zach Randolph game, with 2 feet off the ground, and said, "I'm getting mine." And NC State been on a roll, so yeah, it wasn't surprising that Duke beat. Not surprising. As far as Scheyer's recruiting and whatnot, guys are going to be 5 stars no matter what. They're going to get drafted top 10, just like Lively got drafted, lottery pick. And you look at Duke's recruiting class for next year, Cooper Flagg's going to go number 1 no matter what happens, whether he shows up or not. So talent's going to be there. Just me, Duke's problem is always going to be their scheme. When it calls for them to need multiple big men on the floor, they never do. They always go out there with 4 guards and 1 out of position big man, and it hurts them. So
exactly, and it falls back on coaching, right?
I mean, do you trap Burns? Because the game was close. Like one play, I thought Filipowski made a layup. I'm like, wow, that missed. Like, it was a little in the basket for a while. I mean, it might have been a combination of State's defense and just people being off, like Proctor. Everybody was off. I mean, Roach didn't have the second half he had against Houston, so it was like, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, yeah, maybe you do go to the dude off the bench like Powell, or you bring in who's that guy that blocked that shot? Man, he got up.
Jon Scheyer.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't.
He's the most athletic on the team, and you got him sitting on the bench. When they beat NC State at NC State, Stewart played more minutes than Filipowski did. And they won by 15 then.
At the end of the day, it's all about making shots,
Yeah.
But you bring, maybe you bring him in instead of, what's the other big guy, Young or something? I mean, he kind of beefy.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, if it were me, I would have had Young at the 5 and Filipowski at the 4 to combat against Burns. Young got 5 fouls to give.
Mhm.
Let him lean on Burns and not Filipowski.
No, that makes sense because DR really wasn't a factor. I think it's just the fact that Burns was rolling, and then once Horn got going, because Horn hit some big shots in the second half, like the 3. He got he just made some tough shots, and it was like, okay, are you gonna take it, dude? And nobody else from Duke could come back. That it was just it just got ugly. I don't know. I hear y'all on the adjustments, but I don't know if when it's just like
But
when
Maurice,
RJ
the thing
Davis.
about it is you got to at least try. You don't know if the adjustments will work if you don't try. For years we have been saying, Coach K, please go zone at least one time, because especially against guys that like guys that keep penetrating. Everybody knew that when Greg Paulus was in the game, just go by him. But if you go zone, but he was so stubborn until finally, he had to make the adjustment. Okay, we go play zone. Jeff Capel finally got him to play zone or whatnot. So zone at least gives them a different look. So now they have to adjust. So make them adjust to you playing zone. So you don't know what happened.
That's a good point. I've seen Coach K adjust. I know you're not on the level of Scheyer, but if people are screaming adjustments, only thing with Power is that the fact that when you haven't played and you don't put a guy in early enough, sometimes it's too late to put him in. Like he's not gonna be.
Well, you have to show me the receipts then, cause at least I'm gonna try.
Hancock, Duke, NC State. What you got? What you saw? You neutral.
Yeah, I'm neutral in it. And I know it's a lot of crossfire going there. I know my man, he's a little touchy about his Duke boys, but I understand why. It's not a big thing. But I think Duke kind of, to me, overachieved because, well, I will not say overachieved, but their play picked up toward the mid to late part of the season. They made a run deeper than I thought they would. But I don't think they actually had a personality of how they wanted to play. You had Filipowski, and it seemed like to me early you thought that you might run through him, but McCain looked like he started to be the catalyst on the team. So I don't think they quite understood how they wanted to play offensively. When we talk about the defensive end, playing against NC State, you had a throwback basketball with a center and big guys pounding them inside. I just don't think that they were able to combat that. I don't think they had the size to combat that. So to me, it was just a bad matchup for Duke when it all boils down to me. I understand Big Homie talking about making adjustments or whatever. You do have to try to make adjustments because it's a one and done situation. But I just don't think that it was a good matchup for Duke. Let's just be honest. To me, just being honest. And I think that going into next year, they are already can look back at this year. I don't know if they can call it success, but at least it wasn't a total failure. And I'm not going to break down the game. I heard you guys breaking it down, so that's fine enough for me. I just don't think it was a good matchup for Duke.
Okay. You've seen them. I guess you've seen everything. I guess it would come down to adjustments. Maybe one thing. Maybe you trap Burns and make O'Connell, and at least you gotta let DR shoot more shots if he's not cutting to the basket. So I can see where the adjustment comes in there. Now I think with Purdue, the fact that they got Edey, if Burns is effective, it's gonna be really impressive. Dude 7'4", like you could be big as I don't know what, but he put his hands up. Unless Horn goes off, but other than that, State just kind of or DR steps up. They kind of 5, 6, 7 guys, like their guards. O'Connell's kind of just a grinder. He hit a big shot. He made a shot against Virginia. Really need to blame him because, you can blame Carolina too, but you blame Virginia because they was up 3, missing free throws, didn't foul. NC State wouldn't even be in the tournament. If they were just fouled,
That's
you
true.
hit
So
that
it's
shot.
Virginia's fault.
Virginia, Carolina.
I won't go that far, but I see what you're saying. But when it's in your own hands and you riding high and you things of that nature, then you have to take care of business the way you take care of business. I just got somebody text me the other day talking about it's 54-18 mediocre. Well, my point is the play in this game was very mediocre. 0 for 9 from Proctor. Why is he still in the game? Sean Stewart barely played, and he's the most athletic player on the team, and he's out there doing things that nobody out there could do. Nobody can make a shot other than McCain. The offense was stagnant, and it just was disjointed. But again, it's disjointed because it's disjointed in practice. And if it's disjointed in practice, then you can't just all of a sudden expect miracles to happen if you hadn't practiced that way. If it's been that, if it looked like that in the game, it probably looked like that in practice.
I guess he let one slip out the bag. I wouldn't have said that. I mean, I wouldn't have said anything about practice. It's been like something else would have came out of my mouth, not just we going. What you see is what's going wrong in practice. But
I mean,
so
you play how you practice.
You do. So who y'all getting rid of? I mean, guys can't come back.
These are college kids. I don't think we can just get rid of somebody. I mean, this ain't the NBA where we just
who you want to see hit the transfer portal or declare for the draft.
Well, I'm still processing that at the moment. I don't think that there's a top 10. I don't think there's a top 10 guy that's on the team that'll be drafted.
I think McCain going top 10. Let me see if I can find a mock draft. I know you can't bank on that, but I think he's pretty high.
Yeah, he's pretty hot, but I don't think he's top 10 hot.
Well, because when you list them off, I mean, if you look at
Filipowski, if you're Filipowski, do you go into the transfer portal or do you take your wares to the NBA?
Man, you gonna go to the league, get that money.
Yeah, he going to the league. This is supposedly the weakest draft within the last 5 years. So if you go now. Because next year you ain't gonna have a chance.
Who you saying good riddance to, Henri?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Filipowski, he probably have a good. He may go. I think his stock was high. His stock was higher last year. Coming into this year, but he still may go. I don't know if he's going to be late first round or second round. I don't know now, but him, McCain, since he's hot, riding hot, and everything like that, he may go. And that's probably about it that I can see leaving, unless one of those guys return. So.
But why wouldn't he come back with the stacked deck? I mean, so you got Flag. I mean, you got a pretty big lineup. I don't know if you can play all three of them. I don't know how this other guy is, but we know Flag gonna play unless Flag play like the 3.
Yeah, Flag scheduled. He's penciling in at the 3. If anything, when Foster will be back, if McCain and Foster come back, then then we good, because we don't have a point guard coming in. We just got shooters and wing players and big men.
So that would make sense for Proctor.
I don't know
stay,
who's
right?
willing to go to the bench.
I'll say Proctor can stay. McCain should leave now.
Because it's
okay.
Flag and
right now they got
that 7-2 guy coming.
Filipowski 19th.
Okay. Say it again. Say it again, Maurice.
Probably the next bust.
I'll say they got
I
4 or
said
5 stars.
Filipowski's,
No, I'll say they got 4 5 stars and 2 4 stars coming in this class next year. There's gonna be a whole lot in the portal and a whole lot of guys declaring.
Yeah, they got, if everybody's everything, they got 17 people were on 13 scholarships. 4 people got it. So that's 4 people that got to go.
Well, bye TJ Power.
Well, Roach is out, right?
Yeah, Roach is the only one. Well, no, he could stay for another year.
Yeah, he
COVID?
can stay for another year. He got a COVID year.
Yeah, just like RJ Davis has a COVID year.
Let's not forget, and just to throw this out, Jared McCain is the highest NIL guy on the team, so he's not hurting for money.
Yeah, because he paints his nail. He got
Until flag.
he got a Fashion Nova deal.
So, I mean, and then you got to remember also that the hurt of losing and going out like the way that you go out, sometimes that emotions get you to say, well, look, I'm gonna run this back again.
Or the pain of going to class again says, you know what, I'm out of here. I want to do basketball.
Yeah, that could be true.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. So I mean, the NIL could balance it out. I mean, if they come back, they could build a superpower. I mean, if these guys, somebody gonna be a bust. I don't know who yet, but one of them 5 stars gonna be a bust. So
somebody ain't playing.
They're all never. And so
well, again, Scheyer hadn't shown that he could manage the talent that he's getting in. So it may be a coaching bust instead of a player bust.
That's true.
You know, so there's only one time I've seen the platoon system work, and that was 2015 Kentucky. I don't see Scheyer doing that.
That didn't even work. That didn't. I mean, it didn't. What do you mean it worked? I mean, it worked to an extent.
I mean, they were one game short of a national championship.
Yeah.
Most times you have that much talent, somebody's transferring middle of the season. You know, somebody's getting into a fight. They may not even make the tournament. It just all doesn't. It just all looks bad. That team looked great
until they got Wisconsin.
Even when they lost, it was like, dang, they had so much talent. You know, maybe the wrong guys played at the wrong time.
Well, they say the word on the streets, Calipari, he can recruit, but he can't coach. Especially when it get tight. I mean, I know Memphis failed him with the free throws.
I'd say that's most coaches nowadays. Everybody just says, you know, we're not gonna call any sets. We're just gonna give these guys the ball and get out the way and shoot threes. Because that's what they do in the NBA. So,
but back then, I mean, in 2015, that wasn't the case. I mean, who was it? It was Towns. Was Booker on that team?
Towns, Booker, Cauley Stein, the Harrison twins, Tyler Ulis, Trey Lyles. I mean, let's be honest. The Harrison twins were the quote unquote bums on that team, and they were steamrolling through everybody.
Yeah, they were, because that was their second champion, because they lost to Connecticut in 14, right? The Shabazz Napier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they almost went back. Okay, so that was just 1 year later. So
yeah, they came back and brought, like I said, they added Towns. Towns was a freshman, Ulis, Booker. I know you mad, lady. I know we talking about Kentucky.
But yeah, so we'll see how it pans out with Duke and Kentucky. They say that the Heat's on Calipari. They thirsty for a championship. What's it been 12 years now? But now we got to get to we got to get to Carolina and the uncharacteristic play down the stretch. Jalen Withers, we bring you into the game because of your length to give Brandon Nelson problems. Very good adjustment by Coach Davis. But with 12 seconds left, you want to get the ball and at the top of the key and shoot a three. And coming into the game, I got stats to back it up, just not feelings, just not opinion. He was 3 of 19 before that shot. So he's sitting around 20%. This dude out of character chucks up a three, hoping to be the hero. Then Baycott, he pulling down the rim before dunking the ball. I rarely see him dunk with one hand. Then he gets stripped on another play, and then Davis is already off. So the role players gave us everything they could. Cormac Ryan was on. Ingram probably could have been a little more aggressive. Baycott was playing well. Who am I missing? Trimble and Cadeau, they both made 2 threes. We up 8 at the half. But RJ Davis got to come through in the second half, and he just couldn't find it. 0-9, kept shooting threes. Just shoot your floater, go to the hole. But I mean, Alabama had the offense, so I mean, I take my hat off to him. It hurt because not as bad as when Chris Jenkins made the shot against Villanova. It ain't hurt that bad, or when we got whipped by Kansas in 08, but it hurt a little bit knowing we could have been a little better and maybe had a second chance at Connecticut because we played them pretty well the first time. But I mean, Henri, you sent the choke artist thing in the text, and I really couldn't refute it.
So who do you guys blame for the loss?
It is a team effort. Jalen Withers had a Carlton Banks moment. RJ went 0 for the century. I don't know if he watched Caleb Love play right before he played and said, I see what you did and I'm gonna match it. Yeah, that was just tough. And as far as the late game execution, it's one of those where Huber's used to giving the ball to RJ and say, make something happen. But when you 5'11", sometimes it's a little bit tougher to get to your flow game, especially when you ain't hitting threes. And they literally were backing up off him to let him shoot, 3 feet behind the line. After a while, it's like, all right, come on to this paint. I'm gonna swat it out. Make you take a heavily contested shot that you ain't made nothing open all day. I don't have that much faith in the other guys, especially pick and roll. And yeah, I think Baycott lost his head after the missed dunk. Cormac shot out of his mind in the first half and couldn't hit nothing in the second half either. Tail of 2 halves that game. And all credit to Alabama. They just kept on firing. It was Spears at first, and then Nelson got hot, and Estrada was consistent. Yeah. Nate Oates, he out-coached Hubert.
You think so? I don't know.
Well, he said after the game they have a lot of people doing analytical stuff and looking at calls and play calls and things for Carolina, and they made those adjustments in the second half.
Because all Alabama did was, not all, but there was heavy screen and roll, 3 points getting to the rim. It was just over and over again. And Sears wasn't even. He had the game of his life the next game against Clemson, but he wasn't on with the other dudes. And definitely the key was Grant Nelson. Dude just came out of nowhere.
But he did his damage in the second half. First half, it was right. Sears, it was Estrada. What was the other guy? Griffin. They were hitting everything. Carolina should have been up at least double digits, and not 8 points. And it felt closer than 8 points.
Yeah, because
and then it come out the first 5 minutes of the second half. That's usually where Carolina makes that run to increase the lead, to kind of demoralize the team. And instead, we looked up and we was down.
Well, Davis had nothing, and then
and I'll never agree with. I know Cadeau is a freshman. You don't do what you hadn't done all year. RJ was playing off ball all year, and that's what made him ACC Player of the Year. You don't put him on the ball the last 10 minutes of the game, essentially force his hand. You know, Cadeau was a playmaker first half.
But he was settling for threes already, so he wasn't really effective. Like, and
but you tell Elliott, don't settle for threes, play make. Look for the others. Do what you've been doing all year. You've been basically, I guess you say, diet Kendall Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to be that. Instead, we got into a 3-point shooting contest with a 3-point shooting team, and we fell in love with it because we made nine? It was either 9 or 10 of them in the first half.
Yeah, I mean the offense was high powered. I mean, I was surprised Cadeau sat so long. Maybe you bring back in Trimble, but it's just like what he. I mean, all right. So you put him out there, then that's already less room for Baycott. You need room for Cormac. You need room for Ingram, and that's why he brought in Wojcik for a while, because you gotta keep up. They coming with threes. They bombing away.
Wojcik hit 1 3. I'm not
he hit one
credit.
But I mean, to keep the defense honest, like Cadeau, you're not doing it. And if he not penetrating, he just settling for jumpers. I was surprised he didn't play much of the second half, but I can see why. I mean, his weakness really came to light in that game in the second half. Then he came out there and he chuck up like a couple of more threes. Like, come on, dude. You made 2, you can hit the average. Do what you do.
But that's where you as a coach, you say, hey, you know, you're getting ahead of yourself. Remember who you are. Don't play their game. You play your game. You know, it's not the first time folks was backing off of him all year.
He got to get a mid-range. Dribble, at least a dribble pull-up, dude. Like, come on.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. But I'm not sitting down my playmaker the whole second half, especially when my best player is struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where else he goes unless you bring out Trimble. I mean, maybe you just stick with. At least it gives you defense, and you said possible playmaking. I mean, what y'all think as far as, I know the game was a little while ago, but what y'all think about how it played out? Don't be shy.
Dang, Duke fans don't want to talk about Carolina.
Hey, I mean, look, it played out wonderful to me, so couldn't have played out any better.
East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Just don't forget that team that swept you this season.
Dang, they still heard that we sent Coach K to the retirement home unhappy. Dang.
Yeah, that's why I have to be quiet, because I don't slang mud.
Dang, I know.
But it was a shootout. I'll just say that it was a shootout, and I thought that Carolina known for easy basket, very easy basket. Transition, I'm not sure the stats, but how many easy baskets did they get? A lot of transition. They speed. They probably played with the highest pace in the NCAA this year. You know, maybe they was trying to slow it down because Alabama plays fast as well, but you still got to play your game.
Yeah, Alabama actually played like a Roy Williams coach team. Honestly, they were getting shots off. Remember the end? They got the shot off the made free throw or the basket, like a 3.
Yeah, there were a couple possessions where we either got a layup or dunk and came back down. They hit a pull-up 3, and it's like, wait a minute. Come on now. Hold on. Timeout.
Right, not matching up. And I mean, it's not even transition, but it's just the fact that they're getting the ball in, they pushing it. And we got the better defensive team, but they were just poking. That's why if anybody of these last teams, if anybody got a chance, I give them a chance against Connecticut. But Connecticut, I mean, they're not gonna put 30 straight on Alabama. I don't think they gonna. You give them double digits?
Yeah.
Wow.
That big 7-2 monster down there. And Connecticut is just so efficient on offense.
Yeah.
You know, they're a machine.
I mean, it's just crazy how that happened for them. Like they don't have this Kentucky type of, even Duke or Carolina type talent, but this year, they just rolling. They rolled last year. They were kind of on the radar last year. But I mean, I know a few guys got drafted, but they
got dudes like.
This is what happens when you play connected. When you are all on one accord. This is what happens when you play team ball. Everybody understand and knows they roll and they go out and do it.
Yeah, they got dudes that can just play, you know, and everybody has their role, and on any given night you can look up and see multiple different sets of guys with double-digit points, and they gonna sit down on the defensive end and make you work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
they got a full complementary team for sure.
So what they've only lost in conference like the past 2 years, right? I think that's it, right? Something crazy like that I heard.
I don't know about last year, but this year definitely.
I think Alabama just has to just throw it all against the wall. They got to get up and down the floor, and they got to make threes. They got to turn this into a game. I think that's the only shot they have, to be honest with you. I think they have to get it into a high pace, high scoring, and they got to shoot it well. You know, without that, they're not going to have a chance. But I think that's their way of beating this team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, so Connecticut lost to Kansas, a different Kansas team this year. They lost at Seton Hall. Maybe they just wasn't focused. And they lost to Creighton. And Creighton just went out. So on the road. So I guess you have to take from that blueprint. I'm pretty sure they done. Alabama then coaching staff and looked at that and said, okay, this is what we can try to take from it. But in the tournament, the past 2 years, they've just been a different team. They've been just rolling through.
I better hope you get about 15 threes
down the floor.
Yeah.
Well,
man, let's not forget Danny Hurley is the hottest coach in college basketball right now.
He is. He
cannot do everything he touched, every play he called, he can't do no wrong.
I heard he was on the hot seat not too long ago. That's crazy.
I'll say was Kevin Ollie just that bad of a coach?
Well, he won. He won with
he won. He won with Shabazz, but it turned so bad so quick.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
It was just like you blinked and you were like, okay, UConn's not that good. And then,
well, I think what happens is that once you lose that one guy or that guy that you depend on, then you actually have to coach. Then, you know.
I mean, he had a couple guys. He had Jeremy Lamb. He had Andre Drummond.
Boatwright too, right?
Yeah, he had Boatwright. Everybody forgets about Boatwright.
He had the guy in the NBA now. What's his name? Played for Book Knight. Didn't he have Book Knight?
Book Knight. Yeah,
I think he brought him in. Got him into the league.
Yeah, I think he transferred from Oklahoma one.
Nah, I thought he came straight in. I could be
really?
wrong.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. But either way, like I said, Hurley, you blinked, and next you know, UConn's a machine. Again.
Well, they've been a machine.
That's what I said.
UConn's always been a good quality program.
No, but they wouldn't
They
beating.
fall
wouldn't
off.
Yeah, they weren't beating folks' heads in like this.
No, I agree with that. But they were a solid program.
Yeah, but it's like they disappeared for a little while after they won that championship. 14, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of.
Well, you know, they transitioned from Calhoun. It was a transition from Calhoun, who had the program for such a long time. You know, so this was actually they kind of took a I agree with that, but you know, I was just speaking historically when I said they've been a good program. So yeah, I understand.
Definitely.
They are a juggernaut now.
Yeah, because I mean it was a pretty smooth. Because when Calhoun won his last one, was it with Kemba Walker, right? So that was 2011.
Yeah, Kemba was 11.
He went on that crazy run.
Yeah, then Ali won in 14.
And then after that, it just went
went
down the toilet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess he had a short leash because he played for UConn, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played in the Calhoun.
Yes.
Yeah, Calhoun probably helped him get the job.
Well, they got together now. So the other matchup. So if we got punch Connecticut in, we see Purdue or
man, stop that. We going Purdue.
I'm leaning Purdue. I mean, you ain't.
Pretty.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to see none of my cousins happy. Nah, if I'm depressed, I need everybody else depressed.
Henri went to state, so that's it.
Well, you went to state and you a Duke fan?
Yeah.
Well, you Duke fan.
Absolutely.
That.
I wasn't going. Yeah, I was a Duke fan before
power,
that.
Baby. Y'all underestimate that power.
Hey, I wouldn't go downgrade.
There you go.
Yeah, state. If state win this, man, I mean.
So if state win, are you running around with your alma mater's colors, or are you like doing like a golf clap?
Nah. I still, I'm still Duke all the way. I was just as angry. I thought I would be, but I was just as angry when state beat Duke. So, yeah, I'm Duke all the way. But I will be, cheering for state that they do well and everything like that. I don't know. As far as every time I think that state don't have a chance, they surprise me. So, it on paper it looked like Purdue just, run away with it. But I don't know. Even with that matchup with, Burns, and he's just been a different guy since the ACC tournament. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it, where a guy that was, okay, but just turn around and, become, as you could say, dominant. But I think one of his biggest assets is his passing ability. Because even the game before Duke, he didn't have point scoring as a real strong game, but he's become a real good passer. So even when they double team, he's able to find the man.
Yeah, 8 assists.
Cutting and open and stuff like that. So yeah, he's become a real good passer. So I think that they're going to really have to utilize that against Purdue, his passing ability, and of course stay out of foul trouble. I mean, if he gets in foul trouble, then it can get ugly real quick.
But should Purdue even be trying to? Seem like he's effective with seeing the double team, but I don't see Purdue trapping him.
I don't think Purdue. No, I don't. I mean, I don't think really Purdue necessarily would do a lot of trapping him, but I know they're not going to want to get Zach in foul trouble either. So they want to keep him low on fouls and stuff like that. So, but I think so. I think State will have to pull, like, if Burns, if they give him the ball and he's able to pull Edie away from the basket, and then he can use his passing ability to catch to get some people cutting and stuff like that. And I think that they can be effective that way. But you said if he's down there, on the block down there in the basket, man, yeah. I mean, you've been able to bully people now, up until now, but now you're playing against somebody bigger than you. So that's not going to work.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if Purdue
I don't know
goes
if
on.
Edie has the foot movement.
Yeah, they may go zone just to keep Edie off of him and put him in the middle of the lane and say, well, y'all gonna have to beat us shooting threes and we're gonna get all the rebound.
That could happen. You're right.
Because my thing is if you go zone, do you really have an inside game to go down to Burns then? Again, that's an adjustment. My thing is if you force them, because everybody talking, on the panel as if it's automatic that Purdue is going to play them man to man and whether they go double or whatever the case may be. Well, as a coach, sometimes you have to do the unthinkable. You have to do things to force the other team to do something that they're not used to doing. How have they fared against zones this year? Is their offense super sharp when they play against the zone?
Well, they got what I know. They got enough. They got respectable spot-up shooters, I think, in O'Connell, Horn, and what's the other guy named? I can't think of the other guy. He's more of a defender, but he can hit spot-up shots. It's almost like, I guess it just depends on game situation, whether you want to leave them guys or give not open looks, but less contested looks, because the zone, you might not get a real good contest, but you'll get something because you're giving up the outside shots with the zone. You saying beat us from the outside. So I know you were about to say something, Hancock. What was that?
Yeah, well, with the zone, sometimes you lose box out principles, and is that Diarra, I think his name, with North Carolina State? He's pretty athletic. You're going to have to find him and put a body on him. He could cause a lot of problems coming in on the offensive glass. So sometimes in zones you lose a lot of rebounding principles, which can affect the team. So you get somebody in foul trouble with putbacks, things of that nature. I don't know if they continue to go zone. I wouldn't play. I don't know what they're playing personality. I won't sit here and say all year, so I haven't watched them play some zone. I haven't watched whether they play more of a man-to-man squad, to be honest with you. So I don't know what they do, but you don't want to kind of go away from what you are and what has gotten you to this point this late in the ballgame. I know you do want to do whatever you have to do to match up, and like Big Homie says, you do have to make adjustments, but you don't want to make adjustments to your detriment also.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue, I mean, they have looked beatable. I think, at least personally to me, UConn is probably like the only team that's looked like, oh my goodness, how anybody could get close to beating them, but everybody else has at least, had stretches where they looked, vulnerable and beatable, even with, Edie there. So
yeah, Purdue's definitely they're on a mission from they've redeemed themselves to an extent after they lost that 16 seed last year. So they redeemed themselves, and Edie calling out Rick Barnes because you didn't recruit me, and everybody's doubted me. So. What you say,
boy, that's how you feel about Edie. Edie got a little chip on the shoulder. You talked about being petty. That was petty there. So I don't know. Like I say, now brought a little light to himself because, you know, he's been so likable and, you know, this big giant or whatever. And, you know, they're pushing him. He's a great college player. You know, I won't even talk about the next level with him because I don't think it'll translate. I just think the game is different. But in college, as a center, he's a force. And, you know, I do want to see this battle because I do like Big DJ. I think he's, as big as he is, he's very light on his feet. He moves well for a big guy. Now, he can't get up and down the court after about 4 or 5 times down. So you might not want to get him in a run game because I don't think that's going to be the strong suit. But getting him in there and letting him try to bang with the big guy, because how many times this year has Edie even seen a guy, maybe not as tall as he is, but a guy with the physical mass that can play against him? How many centers has he seen? So that'll be a good matchup. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that's the that's all the matchup. That's the one thing everybody is that has intrigue for the men, because I'm gonna transition now, because the women, they pretty much have all the intrigue. They hit on almost all these storylines. Well, they pretty much hit on all of them. I mean, except Juju Watson, just maybe the stage got a little big, or UConn may have outcoached him. Becker's played a good game, so they got the storyline.
That's what happened.
Go ahead.
That's what happened. They got outcoached. They got outcoached. I thought both teams that won last night, the coaches outcoached the other team. To me, when you saw some of the strategies that went into play, it didn't make sense to me in either of those games. So, I mean, UConn was playing 6 players basically. When you watch them play, Becker's was so out of gas in the game before. Watching USC, they kind of played in their hands. They just kept throwing up long shots or whatever, and didn't make them play basketball. You know, they bailed them out on a lot of quick shots, you know, and they had UConn in foul trouble early and stopped going inside they could have gotten them out of the game. They had like three of their starters with 2 fouls early, and they should have kept pounding them, going inside, making them and getting them off the floor. They would have hurt UConn badly because he didn't have any bench. He almost had as many people in street clothes as he had people to play last night. Mm-hmm. So I thought, seriously, when you look at their bench, they were very much depleted. And as far as when we look at what happened with the Van Lith girl on Caitlin, whatever her name is, all night long, because she was just torched, and they just kept playing the same way, going one-on-one. Get the ball out of her hands. I mean, they played and let her play freely, and I didn't understand the game plan at all. I think that the game from last year, where they pretty much, you know, were able to have their way, even though she had 40 points, they had their way. But if you're going to allow her to score that much, you can't allow her to get other people involved. And she got her other people involved. She had 2 people, I think, that were in double figure, one with 21 points and one with almost that amount. So you could have allowed her, if you wanted to, let her get hers, but you can't allow everybody else to get involved. And I think that was the biggest part of the game. She was going to score hers because she was going to shoot 23s, but you can't allow her to get almost, what did she end up with, about 12, 14 assists? It can't happen. You can't let her get both of them. And I thought that was the worst thing they did. I think the coaching was horrible on both sides. Both losing teams.
Moki didn't make it. I was like, are you gonna trap her? You just gonna leave the girl on the island? I mean, and then when they set the screen, the big girl didn't step up. Sometimes was it Flaw J. Johnson? I mean, she kind of shook her up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Clark kind of shook her up one time, but maybe that was the better adjustment to put her on her, even though she gave you points on the other end. But
they went to her late, and they let Flaujay get on her. Yeah, they let Flaujay get on her late, but she was already in foul trouble. She had 3 fouls when she started to guard her. So that hurt a little bit. But I just, like I said, you were right about stepping up. The only person that would step up on the screen was Angel Reese. She stepped up to Hedge and would cut her off. But you were right. They played the drop coverage every time with the high. And even early in the game, they were going under. Why would you go under on a person that's one of the best shooters in the game of women's basketball? That was crazy. So, the strategies last night were horrible.
That was just lazy.
I mean, did they? Because the game really flipped on them in the third quarter. Like, it was tied at the half, but if she's gonna keep coming out, you're gonna let her bomb threes or find the other girls. I mean, I don't know if Moki felt like she didn't have an adjustment, but I would just start trapping her.
No, it really. To me, it really came down to LSU's others didn't step up.
And you didn't cut them off. You allowed Caitlin Clark to get everybody involved. It was a bad game plan. Real bad.
Seems like the theme of the night is coaches can't make adjustments. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me is, we can sit here and ballyhoo about this and that, and if it will work, it will at least try. We don't know if it'll work if you don't at least try it.
That's true. Are you there, Mike?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
What you got to say about last night's game?
I didn't really watch.
So. Well, let's get your thoughts on Carolina and Duke, since you well in the trenches. I think sometimes you like to cheer for Duke.
Yeah, I mean, I was torn. I mean, I like Duke. I like State. I mean, I'm from the Triangle area, but
hold up. I'm from North Carolina too. Henri, when Chris Jenkins made that shot, you think Duke fans felt like you felt when Kansas blew us out? No way. You think Duke fans felt for us?
Well, all you gotta do is ask me.
I'm an ACC fan. I'm an ACC fan, so I want to see the league do well, especially in the big moments. So, yeah, I'm pulling for State right now. So you can knock me for that. That's cool. But I want the ACC to do well at any cost.
But this Duke Carolina thing's run deeper. We've been to a game together. Me, you, and Henri. 05.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a fact. If my team loses and Duke is still in it, yeah, you want to see them get a championship so that they can still be on high when we beat them next year.
No, that's twisted logic. I ain't never heard no crazier logic. Kind of logic.
I don't share those sentiments.
Ain't nobody giving us nobody on social media. Nobody's like, oh man, yeah. I mean, we show respect. My own brother said he was like, oh, where was Carolina at Sunday? Home. It's a win for me because y'all went home first. And you talking about the ACC? Come on, man.
I really am.
Hey, man. So Mike, the ACC get broken up. What you gonna do then?
I mean, the Triangle teams, man, Carolina, Duke, and State. Even Wake get some love. You know what I'm saying? If they can never get back to the Tim Duncan, Chris Paul days, man.
So that's good to hear that you do root for us, Mike. I'm glad. It's good to hear.
Maurice, you should cue up We Are the World.
Right. Right. So I seen that text message. Me and Ant was like, Mike to my when dude got hurt for Houston. Shed. Mike was like, this is your door. This is your opportunity. Take it.
It was.
Like,
it was.
Like, huh?
It was. And Henri and Horace were happy when they prevailed, man, and went to the next round. I mean,
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, if they're lost, they're like, man, they could have won the game. But I mean, injuries happen in the game of sports, so they prevailed. But then State got to them, so I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So what's your Duke and Carolina? What's your final thoughts on both of them?
All right. Well, I'll first start with Carolina. I mean, we were in the game up with that man to go. I think that my man stated earlier, like the adjustments, we took out the guys that got us there, right? We took out Trimble and took out the other defender and tried to go, Cadeau. And then we tried to go with shooters, but then Wojcik only took one shot. So he wasn't playing D. So it's like, well, something wasn't working. And then when I guess number 21, the lanky guy, he just
Nelson
ate us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, he was ball handling, getting to the rack, like he was unstoppable. And we should have went zone. Should have did something. I mean, hindsight is different, but
you can't go zone on them. They shoot the 3 too well. I mean, you
one guy shoots the 3 too well.
No, it was Estrada. It was Sears and Nelson. So you had to bring in Withers to kind of, because Ingram couldn't keep up with Nelson, like he was shaking him.
Well,
and he was too tall.
Bring in Withers. You could have brought in High or Wonko. I mean, you could have done something besides Withers. Withers has been streaky all season.
But on defense, I mean, he's not good on defense, but long, lengthy dude. I mean, he did what he came in. He did what he did what we needed him to do. Get that one stop. He just took that bad 3.
Yeah, and that changed the whole momentum of the thing. Then he fouled on the other end too. People don't talk about that. Yeah, I mean, it's a double whammy. But then with you talking about with Duke, I mean, nobody saw this DJ Burns just beasting the whole league, man. Like, I mean, we saw glimpses of it, but then State would go away from it. He had moments against Carolina where he scored like a couple of buckets, but then they went away from that. Like, because I guess other guys like, man, I'm the man on this team. It ain't DJ Burns. But then they realized, like, this dude's effective. And they kept rolling with him. He's a great passer. And the issue is that people don't realize how you don't want to equate him with the word offensive efficiency. Like, the dude is smart when it comes to making the right pass out the double team. But when you look at him, you don't want to call that man smart. But he makes smart decisions, man. They don't turn the ball over as a team. And they just riding the wave, man. So kudos to him, man. Yeah.
So what you think about him? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. And then as far as Duke trying to D him up, I mean, it's a tough cover. If you play him one-on-one, he's gonna get his numbers, which he did. If you double him, everybody else gonna roast you. So I mean, they had a game plan to say, hey, we're not gonna double, and he ate him up. I mean, yeah. That's what it was to me.
And then Horn came up too. It wasn't just
Horn's
shot.
Yeah, he was cold in the first half, and that's why they were down, right? I mean, State was down, but then they kept feeding it inside and making the right play. And I mean, they're a good team. They got a lockdown defender in Morsel. That dude, he'll lock somebody up. Yeah, Morsel.
He got a shot. He got a good spot up shot. Him and O'Connell. So against Purdue, everybody pretty much think Connecticut gonna take Alabama. So Purdue or State, I mean, which way you seeing that? I mean, I guess you're going for State, but do you see Burns being as effective?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he never faced some dude 7'4" that's that tall and just as big as him, so he's not gonna be able to just push his way to better position anymore. So I'm curious about how the refs are gonna call it. You know what I'm saying? Because if Edie gets in foul trouble, if he somehow happens to get Edie in foul trouble, State can hang. I mean, you can't just keep doubting State game after game. Like at some point, you can be like, all right, man, they doing something right. I mean, everybody bracket all messed up, but at some point, you gotta be like, man, State is effective, and people are still, pushing Connecticut to the championship just because they've been up by 30 points on everybody they played, but they can be beat. They do have 3 losses, so
yeah. they tough out of conference. I mean, they don't have any
Yeah.
conference losses, but I mean, they pretty much got everything. It's gonna take a real crazy effort. So
I think State could do it, but that's just me. I guess I'm a homer.
I mean, everybody talking about the '83 team, how everything is the same. Their record, they had to win the ACC tournament to get in, so everything is lining up the same way. So it make for a great story, but
Right.
we'll see.
And the last thing, I was looking at some of their stats, like them 4 losses going into the game. You know, everybody want to talk about their 9 straight wins, but they lost 4 games. It was 3 on the road, 1 at home, and Cats would. I don't know. They were just. I don't know. I think maybe the coaches figured out what needed to work, because even early in the season, McConnell didn't even start. McConnell was coming off the bench, so they kind of transitioned their team to find the right mojo. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, Keith's made some adjustments. I mean, maybe it's just the camaraderie. They got hungry, desperate. I mean, started winning. O'Connell made that shot against Virginia. Then you just
Oh right, yeah, that was something else.
the rest
To send it into overtime because they were down. Right, yeah.
Crazy. Hancock.
I think
Back to the women's. You see, so what was it? South Carolina and tripping. I know it's Iowa and Connecticut. South Carolina playing NC State. Okay.
NC State, yeah.
So you.
Yeah,
see
another
Clark.
one of your teams out of Carolina.
So you see South Carolina, Iowa, or you think Connecticut getting away? Or?
I think UConn just doesn't have enough depth. I think that's going to eventually catch up with them. They're playing a short bench, man, and it's all on Beckers. They go as Beckers goes. And eventually somebody's going to coach correctly and take the head away from the snake. With that, I think they pretty much run their course this week. I think South Carolina, to me, becomes the eventual champ. I think the depth they have, and I just think that the adjustments that they'll make with Clark, they're not going to let, when they do play out, they're not going to let Clark just have free reign and run and do whatever she wants. She's playing like she's in the YMCA somewhere or some rec where there's nobody coaching against her to take her away or take something away from her. So yeah, I just think South Carolina to me will come out and be the victorious team out of this, to be honest with you.
So you just gonna overlook NC State?
Yeah, I think they've had their run. You won't get both of them in there. Come on now. They both in the Final Four. Be happy with what you got. I don't think they get past them. So, do you know anybody on NC State's girls team?
I sure don't. but I picked the Final Four women's bracket. I got all of them at Final Four. So I can say that with confidence.
Hey, I'm just messing with you, man. You know what I mean?
But I don't have State beat. I don't have State beating South Carolina though. You're right.
Okay, Horace, how you see the women's
I think when you look at South Carolina has.
I think Don Staley is the Danny Hurley of the women's basketball right now. She don't really have a go-to player. They have a team that understands and knows their role, and I just think that is been the success of championship play over the last couple of years, men and women. I think Gino is getting tired of losing recruits to South Carolina and LSU and Baylor. So I think he has to figure out a way to adjust to this way of actually coaching them. Because for so long he had all the talent, he just rolled the ball out. But now you actually got a coach. So I would say if if UConn gets to the championship game, I think this gives us a clear indication that Gino has figured out how to coach average women to play at a high level.
So he got one star now. You got to
you got to tip your hat to him this year, though. Yeah, he got one star, but you got to tip your hat to him this year. He's coached this year. When you look at the injuries they have on this team to get this team to the Final Four, he's shown he can coach this year. And when you watch the sets that they run to get Paige open for shots, they always start opposite the ball and they run screens, they'll kick. And it's just the way he designs everything. You can see the coaching, and they defend. They play hard. The big girl in the middle, Aaliyah, I can't think of her last name, but she plays well. So he plays to his strengths. He has two people right now, and he has some decent guard play, but he has two people. He has the center in the middle, and he has Paige Beckers. And he's coaching up a storm. To win that game last night. Now, again, I will say USC played into their hands, but he took advantage of them and outcoached the other coach down the stretch to pull it out. So I got to give him his props this year. I've seen him do, he had Mine Moore. He's had All-Americans all throughout. We can go back. Stewie won 4 in a row. Tarazi. I mean, the names go on and on. We talk about Connecticut, but this year, with what he's had to deal with the injuries and everything to get this team where he has, I got to give him his coaching props on this one.
What you got, Ian?
I find it funny that, two things funny. Number one, 2 years ago, Paige Becker was the best player in basketball, and we act like that didn't happen. And we also act like Gino just all of a sudden got Paige and a bunch of walk-ons to the Final Four. It's UConn. Let's stop with the oh, woe is me, poor Gino. No, Gino brings in folks. So, kudos to him. We doubted them, and they're in the position that they're in now. That being said, I think Iowa pulls it out just because of the Caitlin Clark show, and I really want to set up a Iowa South Carolina rematch this year for the title.
Yeah, that's what the ratings are. I think I just saw the ratings like 12.3. Like they blew it out. It was crazy last night.
So this was like Bird and Magic, man, on the women's side. This was huge. It was serious. It was race. It was good against evil. It was everything you name, and they played it up. The media played it up, and it worked.
I guess it's something new, but I didn't like how they interviewed players at the half. Usually the coach, like that just seems so pointless to me. Like, why are y'all interviewing the player? But like, I guess.
Can I bring up something?
Yeah.
All right. So the women's game, like the actual game, is more mental, I guess, because there's not a lot of athletic ability, right? I mean, people ain't dunking. You don't see you might see a crossover. So my question to y'all is, now somebody else brought this up, but would you think the game would benefit if they lowered the rim to 9 feet? Or is that a sexist statement to say that men can have 10 and women need 9? But you could probably see a few more women maybe dunking or something, or being more aggressive, maybe. I don't know.
Well, the women wouldn't want it that way. I mean, I think it would be because they want to be equal, even though they're not physically. It's just genetics. That's the truth about it. But they're gonna look at it as a negative, even probably a gimmick. I may be fine with it, but I mean, a lot of girls, they're just not even coordinated enough to dunk, especially when you get some of the tall ones. Like Brittany Griner's the exception, obviously. You got a few other girls maybe, but a lot of girls are they just out there just to take up space and put their hands up sometimes. So
Right. Well, I mean, you might have a defender. She may not be able to, be an offensive threat, but you could have somebody that can move their feet and can, you know what I'm saying? You got all different types of people, but
right, but not the girl Juju Watson. She looks like how. I mean, she making moves how I seen dudes make moves. Okay. So
right.
She's moving like that. So, and probably some of the other girls too. But I mean, Flau'jae.
Right. Yeah, she got the handle. She did the crossover. Like, yeah, she's balling. She was balling.
So they, right. I mean, they got some of the stuff, but I just think it would be. They just look at it as a gimmick. I mean, they'd rather just have we got the skill, we got shooting, handling, passing, the basics. I mean, we're never going to be athletes like men, but I mean, anybody else want to chime in on that question?
Yeah, I mean, I think even if you do lower it, that it's not like you're gonna be seeing like girls going out there doing like windmills and stuff like that. So it's after you see a one hand or two hand dunk, after that, then people be like, oh, okay. It's not gonna be anything like, oh my goodness, like I've never seen anything like that before. So people get I don't want to say get tired of it, but it is just like, oh, okay, yes, you did a dunk or whatever. Nothing fancy or anything like that, like it, will be with the men. So, I think just keep it as is, is the best option.
Right. I feel like this. It's kind of like men are playing on a 11.5 foot goal, right? I mean, everything is just below the rim. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll let it go.
Well, yeah. I mean, at one time it was that way. I mean, it was. Then you had the influx of athletes and African Americans who were getting the game, and they were athletically better. So, then dunking. I mean, remember, dunking was outlawed. None of us are old enough to see it, but dunking wasn't even. You couldn't even dunk.
Some of us were old enough.
Oh yeah. I was saying, okay, yeah, I know Hancock. You go back to
I remember when dunking was out of the game. Yeah, I can go back and I remember that. So, the game was a little different then, but it also developed your big man with touch. If you remember, you see how Bill Walton and Kareem developed around the rim. It developed their touches because they couldn't dunk. So, it had its drawbacks or whatever, but it did enhance their abilities, I guess, to shoot the ball. So, not saying it was a better game. I'm just saying I do think that those things did help them.
Oh, hold on. Didn't they change the rules just because he was dominating? Like they do most African Americans when they start dominating sports, they try to change the rules. Ain't that what happened?
They did. They changed the rules. Yes. Yeah. The rules just like they changed the lane for Wilt. The lane used to be 6 feet across, but I mean, so they widened the lane because of Wilt Chamberlain, and they took Duncan out because of guys like Wilt. But Kareem, that came in after Kareem and all left college. They brought the dunk back.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, he had his advantage was nobody else can match his advantage. Like you can't match up till you find another tall human being, no matter what. I mean, before that, what it was, Mikan. I don't know if Mikan was dunking.
Well, but he wasn't real athletic. We talk about rule changes. The free throw was changed because of Wilt. Because Wilt used to take a step and just lay the ball in from the free throw line. So they made you stop. The ball had to hit the rim before you could go into the lane. They changed the rule because of Wilt.
Oh
wow.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not.
Wait. He could take a step and lay the ball up as a free throw.
Yes.
As long as you did not touch down in the lane, you could leap from the free throw line.
Oh, he could
and lay the
jump.
ball up. Think about it.
Oh,
We're
he
7
jumped.
feet.
Right.
He could not jump. Yeah. He could just jump. And so you had to stop. They changed the rule to ball had to hit the rim before you could come across the line.
Gotcha.
That's why you see it now.
They should bring that rule back so they can have some better free throw shooting.
Oh, well,
I'm messing.
I mean, yeah, maybe just shoot it Rick Barry style. I mean, Shaq would have so many more points if he just did that. And didn't Wilt do it for a while?
Yeah, not sure Shaq would have been making.
Yeah, Will did it for a while.
You don't think Shaq would have made the Horace doing that?
Shaq said he made it when it counted.
Yeah, well,
No, he
we
did.
can't just assume that he gonna make it just because he's changing his free throws down.
That dude shot 52%.
Well, I know Plumlee shoot him left-handed. He make a lot more of them now. And Tristan Thompson, at least try the adjustment. I mean, Shaq got what he got. He still got what he wanted to get out of the game, but that's just pride. Like you could have, because I just heard him on the podcast. He was saying he wanted to average 10 more points his last 2 seasons because he wanted to pass Wilt so he could say it wouldn't be nobody to say he was more dominant. Like, and the way he said it, like it was like it really burned to him. Like he wanted to be the most dominant and nobody else be in that category, because he said one time he was out somewhere and Wilt Chamberlain didn't speak to him. And he was like, oh, okay, because he was talking about criticism and how guys today, like, I criticize a guy, but I got G14 classification. I've been there, but they want to get all sensitive. But his mom would say, there's always truth in criticism, son. So stop acting like a wimp and go find the truth in it and let it motivate you. Because Kareem said, they said, this guy Shaq, he's scoring more points. Kareem said, how many championships he got? And it burned his Shaq.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just maybe guys that they need to use, because it's like nobody want to be criticized. Yeah, we criticize on this level. It's easy. We don't know the guys, but guys who have been there, their criticism should be, it's constructive. You should take heed to it. Some of it, they just, he hating. But if there's some truth in it, take it and let your game grow. Don't.
Horace, you don't realize that's that newer generation stuff, man. You know, you can't tell them they making mistakes. You can't tell them that you hating, man. You hate. It's a lost cause.
Yeah, hating has become, just because you have an opinion or observation, is hate, which is the dumbest thing to me.
Right.
I have said time and time again that just because I have an opinion and observation on how I think Scheyer should be better as a coach, don't mean that I don't like him. Don't mean that I'm hating on him. It means that I'm simply giving my opinion about what I feel and what I think based on the knowledge that I have. If you ask your players to get better, then why can't you ask your coach to get better?
That's true. So if Scheyer was out, if Scheyer got fired, who would you want to replace him with?
Whoa! Why are we firing him in? I first want to know what could Scheyer have done against State? That's what I want to know in the second half.
Well, first of all, I mean, I guess you missed the first part of the show. First of all, he went to halftime and said that the offense was disjointed.
Okay. He
said that on air. If the offense is disjointed, who called offense? Or who practice, or how do you, if that's the way you look in the game, it's probably the way you look in practice as well. So if it's disjointed, then have some accountability and fix it during the half. If it's disjointed, because it looks like to me it got worse.
And that Jeremy Rope's job, ain't it? The senior.
Well, okay, talk to the senior and tell him to make some adjustment. I mean, listen, if your kids go to school and they get in trouble, it's the kids' fault, but the parents get the bulk of the responsibility and has to take accountability for the way that the kids act. If Jeremy Roach does not do exactly what Scheyer wants to do, then that's up to Scheyer to make sure that he gets in his head to do what he needs to do.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not. I like Scheyer. I think he's a great recruiter, but I think also that there's some adjustments throughout the season that he could have made. Mark Mitchell regressed this year. There was no development at all. Mark Mitchell. Period.
He was looking lost out there. Yeah, he was falling.
I mean, he was absolutely ridiculously regressed. Period. You had Filipowski playing center. That's not even his natural position. I mean, it's a lot of factors that goes into it. And okay, yeah, you did the best you could, and you know maybe we exceeded expectations. But every year, I'm pretty sure every 316 Division I team goal is to win the championship. So 315 teams will fail this year, and we happen to be one of them.
That's one way of looking at it. But bringing back to Carolina, would Hubert be failing because he didn't tell RJ to stop shooting? Because the dude, he put up 12. He was just cold, man, but he continued to shoot. I mean, I know he a quote unquote superstar, but there are games where you're just off, right? Even Kobe in the finals, he was just off. So he started rebounding. He started doing other stuff to affect the game. And somebody should have told RJ, man, you just off today, man. Like, just start driving. He actually did start driving a little bit, but he kept trying to shoot that thing, man. And he was practically
off.
shot us. Yeah, right. He was off. So at some point, when this, I don't know, the coaching, when does somebody say, hey, man, don't even pull no more. Like, you just got to take it to the hole and get others involved. Like, that's the adjustment. And I guess that's what Horace is talking about, the adjustments, man. These coaches and stuff got to make.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We should not be losing no Alabama, man. You
don't think Coach K ever got challenged? You don't think Coach K challenged Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley? You don't think that ever happened?
Yeah, he would bench him. Coach K didn't care.
That's my point. So
Coach K got a lot of grace.
But Scheyer got a long way to go to start doing Coach K stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to compare him to Coach K, but what I'm trying to say is, if you don't try something, you'll never know if it's gonna work. If you go zone against NC State and say, well, you made one 3-pointer in the first half, let's just see how they adjust to this zone. If it don't work, go back to man. It don't matter, but at least you tried.
Right.
At least you tried. When they beat NC State at NC State this year by 15, did you know that Sean Stewart played more minutes than Filipowski that game and was a force on the offensive rebounding and in a force in the game? But didn't see a whole lot of time in this game.
What are you going to say, Hancock?
I was just saying that, I know it's revisionist history. We go back and look like K won from day one, but K struggled early too with Duke until he found his
but K didn't have this kind of talent either.
My question, okay. My question is, both of you guys program, are you confident in Hubert Davis at Carolina? And Horace, I already got your answer. The way you talking, you don't look like you have much confidence in Scheyer at all.
No, I got confidence. I'm just asking him to get better. I'm just asking him to get better. That's it. I got confidence, but just don't play the victim mentality when you're the head coach. Just like you ask your kids to get better, I need you to get better too. So the first thing that should have came out is I got to get better as a coach. Point blank period. I got to get better as a coach. Not,
Did you like a shot higher?
John Proctor went 0 for 9. I wasn't out there shooting balls. Proctor was. Yeah, but Proctor's in the game because you allowed him to be in the game.
Did you like the Scheyer hire?
What other options?
Chris Carrawell was on that bench too.
I don't have confidence in him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would have been Wojciechowski or Dawkins,
Or Capel.
personally, or Capel, one of those three, because I know for a fact Wojciechowski was one of K's favorites.
Is he a head coach somewhere now?
What about Johnny Dawkins? What about Dawkins?
He said Dawkins,
Stanford.
yeah.
Yeah, I said Dawkins.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I said Dawkins, Wojo, or Capel.
Okay.
That,
I don't like the hire.
Those are my thoughts.
You don't like it, Henry?
No, and I still, he still has a lot to prove to me. I still don't have confidence in Scheyer.
So who you replacing him with?
So I place him with Hurley. I play with whoever. I mean,
Bobby
whoever's Dan Hurley. Whoever's the top coach. Look, if he took that job to do. There's high standards. It's like with Alabama. You think Alabama's going to give old dude coming behind Saban, but for so long? Like, oh yeah, well we know he came behind Saban. After a couple of years, or even this year,
the man got to the Elite Eight.
You got to make the playoff.
The man got to the Elite Eight.
Bro, we don't do Elite Eights at Duke. That's not the standard.
Oh wow, Elite Eight ain't the standard.
That's not the
Carolina
standard.
didn't even make the tournament.
You got to think about
Hold on.
Okay,
But listen, I just told y'all every year the standard is we're going to win the championship. If you don't win the championship, the mission is failed.
So you got all these coaches getting fired in, brother.
No, I didn't say fire him. I'm just saying the mission failed. You didn't accomplish the goal. Don't mean that you're not proud of it, but you just didn't accomplish the goal that you set out. Every day that we get up and go to work, our goal is to get back home safe, right? But a lot of people take that for granted. So when you don't get back home safe, I mean, for whatever reason, it's a failed mission.
I mean, now, knowing Carolina, everybody was screaming about. Now, Roy Williams ended up getting 3, but people used to scream for his head. And I always just say, well, who are you going to replace him with? I mean, we went through Doherty, saw how bad that was. So I'm just like, you got to ride the guy out. I mean, he got you one, then he got you another one, and then he ended up getting 3. So. I mean, I don't know. I think y'all going kind of hard on the guy.
Once again, criticism is not saying that I want the guy to be fired. What I'm saying is, why can't I ask my coach to be better at what he does with the talent that he has? Is that a problem? Why can't I do that?
But isn't the talent? I think the talent is little. I mean, Henry, you said last year Lively was a bust. I mean, the talent ain't that great.
Well,
Lively doing well in the NBA.
Okay,
bro.
K left him with this amazing recruiting class. Then to start out, and this is what happened. So, if you're not gonna win, if you're not gonna get to the, get deep into real deep, not Sweet 16, if you're not gonna get real deep into the tournament, then you gotta have high draft picks. See, if you're not doing one, you got to do the other dude. That's one thing K was doing. He was getting you high draft picks, number 1 draft picks, top 5 draft picks. Guys are coming out.
But college is different
now.
now.
You ain't going to win.
College is different now.
If you ain't
the transfer portal, these transfer portals, man, that changed the team.
But we only talking about like 2 years ago. We ain't talking about a long time ago. K was preparing people for the NBA. So you got to do one or the other. So you either got to get deep, preferably both. But I mean, now you had the number 1 recruiting class or number 2, and you talking about guys. There's no guy. I mean, maybe McCain at best. You talking about going in the top 10 at best. So
what is that?
So y'all overachieved.
What does that matter with the draft? Why do we care about that? Don't you want championships?
Overachieving is not a goal.
You won't.
Damn,
you won't.
I can care less about. I mean, you get down to Hurley, the same talent. I can guarantee you that it's not a 27-9 seed.
Okay, time out. So y'all talk about all this talent. What about Calipari? He got all the talent in the world, and them dudes can't even get out the first, second round. but nobody's calling his
that's no
job.
Calipari.
No,
Look,
they are, Mike.
I'm a
They
Duke
are.
fan, so I'm
No,
all
they
about
are.
what
He's still there. He just talked to the AD and got
Right,
probably got an extension.
The pressure is on. The pressure is on.
But okay, all right, pressure. Now we got these young coaches at Carolina and Duke, right? Young coaches, they're gonna have pressure. And I understand you want these guys to get better, but the tournament, man, it's just one game, cause like and sometimes, right? I mean, it's always been one game, but sometimes the best team don't win, man. You got an off night. And I guess it's only up to the coach at halftime to say, "Hey, dude, stop shooting. Hey, you come in, right?"
That's all I'm
That's
saying.
all-
That's all I'm saying. Is you got to.
But I don't think Hubert Davis should be fired over the wrong guy for the job. But I think that he has.
Davis being fired.
No,
Yeah,
but we just saying. We just
people are
speaking
saying,
general, 'cause
yeah, in general.
We hear that. We hear that.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah, he
Well,
didn't
those
just get him out of
emotions,
there.
You know, those going to be emotions. And that's gonna be high emotions and things of that nature.
Right,
But he kind of sound that ways as well because he told some if it's championship or bust. I mean, y'all gonna be busting year in year out.
I didn't say championship or bust. I said it is the goal each year is to win the championship.
Right.
If you don't win, the mission is failed. Point blank. Period. I don't care what sport it is. In NFL, 32 teams, 31 teams failed their mission this year.
Right.
31 teams failed their mission.
What?
I don't care how you look at it. At the end of the day, that's what happened. You can ask anybody on every team what was their goal before the season. Win the Super Bowl.
Gotcha. Hold on, Horace. Go ahead, Hancock.
Yeah, I point, but I do understand what he says. But you have to have real expectations also, big homie. So you got to temper some of it. Some squads are not going to get you over the hump, and I don't know if you looked at your squad this year and did you see an NCAA championship actually with this squad? Did you really see that? I mean, in your heart of hearts, your thought process every year. Yeah, we're doing this to try to win a title. But did you see this squad being able to do that goal, to finish that goal?
No, but what I did see is you continue to play with heart, passion, and pride, and I didn't see that in this last game. That's all I'm saying. Heart, passion, and pride. Things that this organization was built upon. There was no pride or heart or no fight in this game at all. You just got bullied and that's what I'm saying. You don't.
But do you think all programs?
Hold on, time out. One day up at halftime.
Hold on, Mike.
Okay.
Go ahead now.
What I'm saying is, when you think about it, I know you run Duke through and through blue blood, and you and I talk about it. You had a lineage of upperclassmen that passed that along, and I think all programs have lost that, Carolina included, to where the actual program or whatever is not as important because you don't have that chain or that connectivity from class to class. I think it's come back a little bit with what happened with these COVID years, but there's a lot of turnover each year. So I think you're losing that, especially when you lost K at the top of this organization. I know he still might be affiliated, but you don't have that true connection like what you're talking about when you had the lateness passed down to Hurley's and the Hills and throughout like that. I think you developed that with classes, but I think we're losing that in college basketball throughout the nation, not just at Duke, but even at Carolina. I just don't see it the way it used to be. Not that I'm denigrating the game itself. I'm just talking about that pride of, year to year, because you got different people coming in. So I think it's going to be hard for you to harness what you're talking about.
I'm not saying Duke win the championship this year. Only thing I'm saying is if there is some improvement to be made, it has to start at the top. And if you go ask your kids to get better in what they do, then I need the coaching to get better at what he does as well. It's nothing wrong with asking somebody to get better. I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and I'm big homie. I'm gonna ask this, and I'm gonna put this out. And I think this is why I feel so passionate about what I'm saying. I met you at 19 years old, and I was trying to find myself. And when I was trying to find myself, I was out drinking, partying, hanging out, doing all kind of crazy. Right? Now, the only thing you asked me was to get better. I didn't take it as a belittling. I took it as somebody who cared for me, that wanted to see better for me. So asking somebody to be a better person, asking somebody to be better at what they're doing, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, I don't see the problem. I just don't see the problem. I mean, that's a receipt that I would never ever forget. And you tell me all the time, big homie, I'm proud of you. Look what you turned out to be. So when people challenge you and tell you there's much more room and much better, you can do much better than what you're actually doing. The only thing you ask me to do is to be accountable and stop doing dumb stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. I got it. I see Mike got his hand raised.
Go ahead.
So even if somebody walked up to you on the street that don't know you and just say, "Hey, brother, you can do better."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of us can walk up to random people and say you can do better. They're gonna look at you like you crazy, like you don't know me, like. But you take it as a sense of somebody caring about you that they don't know you, or am I looking at that wrong?
Well, that wasn't our case in this case.
Okay, y'all go back. Okay.
Yeah, we go back.
Okay.
Yeah, we go back.
Yeah, so he just pretty much, and I feel him on that. I'm with you. It's fair to criticize the coach. He didn't, to his credit, he didn't say he should be fired. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, like, maybe he did the best that he could with what he had. As Hancock kind of said, I mean, yeah, it wasn't, championship expectations weren't there, because what Carolina did, I'm satisfied. I mean, especially after last year, like, and not just say I want to have that attitude, but hey, they got Sweet 16. Yeah, we should have got a little further, but
yes,
did the best of what he could. We'll see what happens next year, but I guess, like I said, I just feel like y'all. I mean, Henri, you're not a fan of Scheyer. Horace, you want him to step up, but I'm
a fan of him. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of the guy. I like the guy. I actually love him as a player, but again, when you see something that can be improved, and you know that, then let's be accountable. Let's be accountable. Raise your hand and say, look, the first job we need to do is we need to get better as a coaching staff. You had a lot of turnover in coaching staff. Amir Jefferson left. You bring Will Avery in and things of that nature. Now you may bring somebody else in because the NCAA added 2 more coaches to the staff now. And then when you go back and think about this. Jon Scheyer had never ever coached in his life. No coaching experience. No head coach. He's just been riding on the coattail of Coach K for 8 years. Johnny Dawkins has went off and did his coaching. Tommy Amica, Steve Wojciechowski. We got plenty of guys that's within that Duke circle that has plenty experience developing organizations outside of Duke. And you choose the guy that has no coaching experience. Okay, I get that. It's gonna be some bumpy roads and things of that nature. But I just don't agree that where's the fight? Where's the hunger? I haven't seen a Duke team slap the floor in 2 years.
That's what I'm talking about. You don't have that.
Right.
You don't even know
You
nothing
just-
about slapping the floor.
You know, you're right.
No.
Jeremy Roach
doing
didn't
the
smack
best. I mean, you doing the best of what you have. I'll say that's good for Kevin Keats. Kevin Keats is doing the best with what he has. He's doing great with what he has. You don't get the excuse of you doing good with what you have when you got the number 2 recruiting class. That don't fly. When you get the top 5 recruiting class, you don't get the excuse of, well, this is what I had. No. That don't fly in basketball and that don't fly in football.
Right, but how can you put so much weight on that when a lot of people are one and done and leaving? The college game ain't saturated with talent like it used to. This not 1980, 1990. So I mean, I know y'all got Tatum and y'all got Ingram and y'all had Parker and some other beasts. You had Zion, you had Barrett, but none of them guys are generational on this team.
They had Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be generational.
He played 6 games.
You're considered one of the best players in the country, best basketball high school players in the whole country, and you get multiple of those guys. That's not doing the best in what you have. Now you got to cultivate that talent because the rankings, they didn't get that ranking for nothing. They're not considered the best in the country for nothing. So now it's up to you to cultivate that talent and to get them to, hey man, you're a top talent. You gotta, encourage them and push them to do better. Now if it was lower talent, I would get it. I would get that.
But Henry, that's tough, man. Even Coach K had
he
had Jalen Johnson, right? And he benched Jalen Johnson because he won't do it right. He was entitled. He won't play within the system. And he was like, you know what, man, you just not even gonna be part of the team, right? That took a lot. I don't know any other coach that would bench that much of a talent than Jalen Johnson, and just did he kick him off the team? Like he just stopped playing, right?
Yeah, he quit. He left.
Yeah, he quit.
He had to because Coach K won't have him, right? He won't buy into the system. So I'm saying that to say that there are a lot of kids out there like that, man. They just feel like they all world. They go to a program and it's tough. They're tough. They're tough to coach. That's all I'm saying.
This is not.
I'm sure it's that. But you're used to that. You ain't like he went to Duke and then he's been an assistant coach. You've been around those guys. You've been around that type of talent.
He went through it. He didn't even make the Sweet 16 to his junior year. So he went through the wars. He was on the team when damn CJ McCollum lit them up.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So I don't know.
He was gone. He was gone. That was Jabari Parker.
Yeah.
That was Jabari Parker.
Parker don't play no defense. Yeah.
But the thing I'm saying, I think y'all getting it mixed up. It's not that. It's the way that they played throughout the season. Lackadaisical with no heart and no passion. That's all I'm saying. That's not how you cultivate the talent that you get.
So are they soft then? That's what the national media called Duke. They call them soft. Or you think they're soft?
Well, you tell me. What did it look like to you?
I know, but who was playing when they were playing Houston? They were looking soft until she got hurt. And but
Ryan Young came in and played a pivotal role. Jalen Blake came in and played a pivotal role. Those guys are physical and they tough and they played with passion. That's all I'm saying. See, in that game, you whatever you said, you pushed the buttons and said, we're not gonna lose this game. Whatever you said to those guys at that time, they played with toughness. Probably the best game that they played throughout the whole season was in that Houston game.
Well, as far as tough, they didn't shoot it well. I mean, if Houston would have made some shots, they would have been over.
The head. Houston lost the head from the snake, like you said, and they couldn't do nothing. But go ahead.
I mean, man, I wish we would have got to this earlier. We got 5 minutes. Hancock, you close us out on it before I close us out.
Okay. As far as the Duke situation,
Yeah, just this part of the topic.
they got to the Elite Eight. Yeah, they got to the Elite Eight, and Horace, I understand that that's disappointing for you. But and I'm not knocking that, because I do think that you want the best for your programs. You're a fan because you want championships. That's what we all want. We want our teams to win. But when I look at Scheyer, this has to be a building block. When it all said and done, I stated earlier that they didn't really play well all year long, but the end of this thing kind of outweighs what happened during the year. When you look at totality, they can only build and go forward. They got to the Elite Eight. Now they'll have Cooper Flag coming in. The other kids you talk about from the Senegals coming in. So they'll have other pieces and they'll make adjustments. Now I do agree with that coming in. If you keep some of what you have going forward, I think that's how you build that chemistry or whatever, that sense of pride and whatever. But that turnover rate is so great. I think that's going to be hard to do. But like I said, to get to the Elite Eight, was this his second full year of coaching, I think, for Duke? If that's the case, I think that he has to be a success right now. You can't look at this, to me, if you're an outsider and being neutral, as anything other than a success. And moving forward, you want to see it keep growing. I don't think you need to take a step back next year. You can't miss the tournament or get, ousted early. But I think this is definitely a move in the right direction for Duke.
Has he proven to you that even with the talent that he's got coming in, has he proven to you that it can be cultivated? Can he get the best out of?
I can't say that he's proven. I don't know. It hadn't been a long enough window. Look, you're talking about 2 years as a head coach, and he got his team to the Elite Eight. You can't knock that. I mean, I can't knock that. You may be able to, because you're close to it. But someone looking from the outside, is going to say, this is a good program. He's coming in after a legend to get his team still to be competitive and have a chance to win a title. Yeah, I mean, when you follow a GOAT the way he did, that's a big feat. So for him to get this team to the Elite Eight, right now,
expectations
I think he's done a great job right now.
Yeah, and
Duke was a 4 seed.
I'm running out of time, y'all. I want to close it out, but I mean, next year, Henri Horace is going to be a pivotal year. I mean, you should have a stacked deck. Let's see what he do with it, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But I think next year will be a pivotal point. And appreciate y'all for coming on, man. Hate that we running out of time. Hate that we got to this part of the topic because it was juicy. This late. That's what I like to. I like to get that rub, as Rob Parker. Like, where's the rub? As he like to say, where's that back and forth? But appreciate y'all, man. We have to do it again. NBA preview coming up soon for the playoffs. So thank y'all, man. Y'all have a good night, and just see y'all next time.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for having me.
Take it easy, Reese.
Thank you. Good night.
Take it easy.
Good night.
And that's all, folks. On behalf of myself, Henri, Mike, Ian, Hancock, and Horace, thanks for watching this episode of the All Basketball Podcast. Please subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts if you haven't. Until next time, peace and be blessed in Jesus' name.